Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 104, and it's all about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Meta Ads strategy. I've done a few episodes now in the last several weeks around my strategy for 2024 with Black Friday and Cyber Monday for my e-commerce brand, but I haven't yet shared with you what I'm planning for my ads strategy on Meta for this critical time of year with shopping and sales online around the world, definitely in Australia. That's where I advertise, and I want to talk to you today a bit about Meta in general, how it behaved last year, so 2023 with Black Friday for me in my e-commerce store, and kind of what I'm thinking for this year. This is a bit of a tricky episode. This is probably part data and part intuition and strategy, because it's very hard to test this sort of thing in advance. Like Black Friday is an event. So you can try different promotions online with your Meta ads, with your e-commerce store. If you have a Shopify store, you can try different sales, different promotions, and see how that performs and how that lands. But no one really knows until Black Friday, like that whole week starts to happen in everybody's diary, how Meta will actually perform, how it's actually going to behave, how many advertisers will actually be on the platform, who is actually going to be competing for the same audience that you will be competing for as well. So although I'm going to just give you a little bit of info on what happened for me with my Meta ads strategy in 2023, it bears probably little resemblance to what I'm thinking for this year, because Meta changes often, all the time. Like, that, hey, if you advertise on the platform, it's changing all the time. So this year will not probably behave the same as last year. If it does, I'll be really surprised. That would seem pretty out of character for Facebook and Instagram if it behaves the same as a whole 12 months ago. So let me share with you a little bit about my ideas for this year and what happened for me last year with Meta around this time of year with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I hope this gives you a bit of maybe context, a bit of encouragement to think about what your plans are for your own brand for this year as far as paid ad goes, but of course other strategies around Black Friday, Cyber Monday as well. I encourage you to go back and listen to some of my other episodes. If you haven't yet sort of started to think about this critical shopping period, I really encourage you to sit down and do some work on that in the next couple of days. This episode is coming out early in November, so you've got a few weeks to do some preparatory work in the lead up to Black Friday. One thing that I'm definitely changing up this year versus last year, and I don't really love this change, but if I want to use Meta as one of my levers for driving revenue this year, I don't think I've got a lot of choice, and that is I'm going to run my Black Friday sale for the whole week. So the whole week in the lead up to Black Friday, which I think is like Monday the 25th of November all the way through to Cyber Monday, which is Monday the 2nd of December. So my promotion this year for my e-commerce store will run a full 7 days. I actually don't love that personally. I really like to keep my sale just onto the weekend that is traditionally Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I'm totally probably alone in that, because I know too, if you are looking online anywhere, or the brands that you love and follow, many of them will start doing Black Friday sales as soon as November 1 hits. Many of them will do it all through the week that I'm planning to, which is Monday the 25th of November through to the following Monday. The reason I'm making that change this year is purely because of Meta. And that is, in the last 12 months, whenever you launch a campaign or you start a campaign for Facebook and Instagram with your advertising, you can't evaluate that campaign anymore and decide if it's good or not good and kill it or scale it after 3 days. It used to be after 72 hours, you could really make a pretty definitive decision on if the campaign was performing well or not performing well. And to be honest, in 2020, you could decide that within 24 hours. Like, that's how much Meta has changed in the last 4 years. Back in 2020, a campaign could run for 24 hours at most before you decided if it was worth continuing with or not. Then last year, I would leave a campaign to run for 72 hours before deciding if it was worthwhile to continue or not continue. Now, near the end of 2024, a campaign really needs to sit and learn and start to find its feet for almost a full 7 days before deciding whether it's worth continuing with or whether it's worth killing it. That's a long time. If you're looking to run a sale for Black Friday, that's a long time, because how on earth do you set a campaign up and let it find its feet to start delivering results for you before you have to turn it off? So that's why this year I am reluctantly running my Black Friday sale for the whole of the week of Black Friday, because I want to start a campaign, build a campaign like on Sunday night, make sure it's ready and it's running and active Monday the 25th of November, so that within a few days, because the engagement with it will be high, it's a sale, the click-through rate will be high because it's a sale, then it's going to have a few days to start to find its feet. And then by day 5 through to 7, I'm really hoping to see it actually deliver some results. Whereas last year, I could have done that just a few days out. I could have started the campaign Thursday night and had it perform by like Sunday of Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. This year, that's just not going to work. So keep that in mind for yourself. I'm not the only person that affects. That is anyone who's advertising on Meta now and this year. That's just the standard as far as new campaigns, and then looking at a campaign and deciding if it's good or not good. Does it need tweaking or adjusting or scaling or turning off? You just cannot make those decisions anymore this year after a few days. Things really need to be left for up to 7 days before you determine if it's a good campaign or not a good campaign. So that's kind of what I want to tell you from the outset that I've seen that's really different this year, that's going to determine quite a different approach for me with my strategy, because I do want to leverage Meta ads as one of the ways for driving revenue. The main ways will be organic social, Meta ads, and email. Email will be my main revenue driver, which is why I'm doing all these lead generation activities now, which I have several episodes about, to bulk up my email list, like to get new email subscribers in the lead up to this critical week where I want to be converting those new email newsletter signups into sales for my promotion, which is a straight 30% off store-wide. I don't think I've said that. So my promotion this year will be a straight flat 30% store-wide. That's what I'm doing this year. So last year, I actually didn't I ran many campaigns on Meta. I only had one, which was a video, and that's all I did last year, was just a video that ran for like 5 days, and it got me a few purchases, and they were really economical. Like they were like $15 a purchase or something, which I was really happy with. And the CPMs were also really low last year too, which I was also really happy with. And CPMs are tricky. So they're higher this year anyway across the board. And I'll be interested to see how high they are with this critical shopping period this year once I start running some campaigns in the week of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Be interested to see what CPMs sit at this year. They will be higher because everything across the board is higher. On Meta, there are more advertisers on the platform, but we don't really know yet until this period hits how much it's actually going to cost. Hence why all of my top of funnel exercises to this point and the episodes I have done for you about what I'm planning this year have been about my top of funnel exercises to boost my email list, because that will be my main revenue driver for 2024. But I'm definitely not neglecting Meta ads. Like I got purchases last year for $11 to $15 a purchase during this period. So I'm definitely going to be there. Like I will be on Meta. I will be advertising on Meta. It's just different. It's going to be different this year, and none of us really know how it's going to play out until we start. So maybe determine yourself a budget, how much you're prepared to spend across the period, and what sort of campaigns you want to be running. I'm only going to be running purchase conversion campaigns, so sales conversion, purchase conversion campaigns for this period. And I'm going to run 2 campaigns. I want to run a cold audience. I trust you're finding value in this episode. This podcast is all about sharing the wins and behind the scenes challenges that come with growing an online business in Australia. Whether you're a business owner who's ready to step up your marketing game, or you're tired of doing everything DIY with mixed results, you're in the right place. Let's talk about what it really takes to build trust, boost visibility, and create a sustainable business. If you're a small Aussie business looking for marketing support on a project-by-project basis, you can find me at Aussie Online, growing on Shopify.com.au, where you can book yourself a free discovery call. It'll only be 25 minutes and you can put it straight in my calendar. I've spent over $100,000 in the last few years on Meta, learning and growing and building several brands. If you found the Facebook and Instagram advertising world a little overwhelming, I encourage you to reach out to me for some specific support that's tailored towards your business goals. Without the crazy high retainer price and lack of transparency you may have experienced with an agency. And if you're not sure if you're ready yet to book your free discovery call, no worries. I have dozens of episodes you can go back and listen to for you or your staff to implement some marketing tactics and tricks and strategies DIY in your business to get you more discoverability online. Head to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify.com.au. You'll find all my episodes there, plus any free resources that I have. I also post them there too. Hit subscribe and let's grow together. Now back to the episode. Audience campaign to my best performing cold interest audience. And I want to be running a retargeting audience as well. Let me tell you a bit about retargeting. With Meta in the last several months, retargeting has changed. And in the sense that many of the campaigns you may be running or have been running to a cold audience are not truly cold anymore, because Meta is taking control of audiences. So they're taking some things out of our hands. When you set up a campaign, you can set interests and demographics, but it will say to you, Meta may take these suggestions on, but we may also deliver your campaign or your advertisement to other people as well that we think are interested. We don't have as much control over kind of turning that off and saying, no, thanks, Meta, just deliver this to who I want you to deliver it to. Meta is taking control of that more and more, which means they will be doing more retargeting for you than what they used to, because retargeting tends to get better results. And of course, Meta is going to do that because they want to get you better results and make you think they're getting better results for you, even though they're potentially retargeting some of your existing audience, your existing customers, even if you didn't ask them to. We can't do anything about that. You can exclude audiences from your campaigns, which I have done from my cold audience. So my top of funnel cold interest audience, I have excluded custom audiences from that group. So I've excluded website visitors, purchasers, people who've already interacted with me on Facebook and Instagram, people who've already viewed a video, to try and make that audience as cold as I possibly can. But that only gets you so far. You can only do that to a point. Meta will still do things in the background to make sure that it's getting you the most purchases it can for the money, in which case it means it's doing retargeting for you, even if you didn't ask it to. Hence why I'm going to run two campaigns, a retargeting campaign and a cold audience campaign. And there's going to be overlap between the two campaigns, which is perfectly fine. I need people to see my ad a lot during this time, and you need people to see your ads a lot during this period of time as well, if you plan to use Meta to get some revenue and some sales through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So the fact that my cold audience that I will run on Meta during this time is going to have some retargeting components in it that's out of my control that Meta is just going to do, I'm actually okay with. So my retargeting campaign, which will have just those custom retargeting audiences inside, I may set a slightly lower budget on that than I would have ordinarily done. So recognizing that my larger budget cold audience campaign, Meta is going to bundle in for me some retargeting anyway, because it's going to get better results. So of course it's going to do that. Why would it not? So I encourage you just to think about that. So I'm going to have a cold interest audience campaign running and a retargeting campaign. If you're interested what to have in your retargeting campaign, I suggest you have these things built into a retargeting audience: your video viewers, your people who've engaged with your Instagram profile and your Facebook ads, so post engagement. What else do I have? Website visitors and my Klaviyo profiles. That's right, all my Klaviyo profiles. So Klaviyo is synced with my Meta account, so all my Klaviyo profiles as well. Is that all of them? What do I have? Website visitors, video viewers, post engagers, Klaviyo profiles. I feel like there's a fifth one that I'm forgetting. No, I think that's it, because Facebook is one and Instagram is one. So they're my retargeting audience. They're the people that will be scooped up in my retargeting audience. And that budget I probably will set at lower this year than I would ordinarily for a retargeting campaign, just recognizing the fact that my cold audience is not truly cold. and Meta will be delivering that campaign as well to people who have interacted with my brand before online. So that's okay. I've got to work with that. There's no point like trying to work against how Meta is going to operate anyway. So that's what I'm doing this year. I will have a branded graphic. I'm going to run images. I'm not running video for 2024. I get better results usually with imagery when I run a purchase conversion campaign. So I will do an image. I'll do some branded image as well. It's going to have my brand colors. I need people who've seen my brand before and maybe interacted with it a few times to kind of automatically identify it. Not that like they automatically know it's me because I'm super famous or anything like that, but just that it will be familiar to them because they have seen my things before. So it's going to look very much like my brand. I'll probably have some products. I may have a product. I'll have something obvious that it's 30% off, like store-wide 30% off, but I'm not going to have, generic like black or white or red or yellow colors like screaming at you like sale or anything like that. I need it to look like my e-commerce brand so that it looks familiar to my followers in their feed that it's from me. And then so at first glance, it sort of catches them, and then they can read the caption and find out that I want 30% off store-wide. So I'm going to run image ads. I'm not running video ads. I have better results with particularly with purchase conversion on imagery over video. That's what I found with my account. Many accounts are different, but that is actually quite common. That is quite common with accounts in general, that you will get better results on images than you will on video. That's just what I found in my experience in the last couple of years. So that's what I'm doing this year, hence why I'm building a warm audience and collecting leads and trying to bulk up my email newsletter list. So I'm only going to run purchase conversion ads through this time. And they will be, I haven't decided a budget yet. I need to decide that in the next few weeks. So I have to decide how much I want to spend on this period, recognizing that it's going to take a few days to find its feet before I can expect to see results start to deliver. So I'm yet to come up with a budget for 2024. Are you planning to do Meta ads for Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And have you thought a little bit about it or what you plan to do? Do you have a cold interest audience that you know will perform well for you? Do you have one that you've used before that you have used now, like one when you've been testing different audiences? Do you have one you can go to that you're willing to spend the money on across this period to get more eyes on your brand and more traffic to your website? It's well worth it. The results are more expensive, of course, because everyone is advertising online. But if your offer is strong, then it's worth doing. If you plan to do a Black Friday offer of 10% off store-wide, or I don't know, some really complicated tier offer, like spend $20, get a free pair of earrings, spend $50, get a free pair of earrings and a bracelet, spend $70, choose a cute little accessory bag. If your offer is layered and tiered, I don't know that Meta ads is going to perform well for you. It's just too complicated. Think about your customer and all the things they're going to see online across this period via email, TV, social media, all the different things they will see. Your offer needs to be clear, concise, and easy to understand and digest. So 10% off store-wide, it's just not great. Like it's not pulling me in at all. Like if I love your brand, I follow your brand, or I'm interested and curious about your brand, that's not enough for me to click through to your website and check it out 10% off. Like it's just not. But anything above, I don't know, the threshold is different for each shopper. Like, well, how do you feel when you look online at brands? How do you feel when you're shopping? How do you feel when a sale comes out? What to you is a sale? What feels like a legit discount, a legit offer? Something that has some scarcity and exclusivity, some FOMO about it. For me, 30% off has worked really well. So I'm definitely sticking with 30% off. 30% off feels to me like a third. It's not a third. 33.33% would be a third, but it feels like a third. That's why I like it. 25%. Clear quarter. When I see a 25% sale, yep, that's a quarter. 30% off. If I see someone advertise 30% off, wow, that's a third. Even though it's not quite a third, it feels like a third. So that's what I'm doing for mine this year. So I encourage you to go and think about your own offer if you haven't already decided one, or if you have, do you plan to advertise on Facebook and Instagram this year? And if you don't, that's totally understandable too. What do you plan to do with your organic socials? What are you planning to do with your email marketing? What plans have you got to leverage this time to really to get the most bang for your buck, like to get the most revenue possibly can from your customers and new people who are discovering you all the time? Thanks for hanging out with me today. I encourage you to go back and listen to my other episodes about Black Friday and Cyber Monday as well. And as always, keep learning.